The year is 1241. The Mongol Empire is at its peak, the largest contiguous land empire in human history. From China to Eastern Europe, the Mongols are unstoppable. They've conquered kingdoms, burned cities, and slaughtered armies 10 times their size. Right now, a Mongol horde, 20,000 strong, is riding across the Hungarian plains. They're heading toward Europe, toward Vienna, toward complete domination of the Western world. No army has stopped them, no fortress has held against them. They are the storm, the apocalypse on horseback. But what if, on that spring day in 1241, a single MQ-9 Reaper drone appeared in the sky above them, armed with Hellfire missiles and laser-guided bombs, piloted remotely from 7 centuries in the future? Could one drone stop the Mongol invasion of Europe? Welcome to What If War. Today, we're bringing 21st century air power to the 13th century, and the Mongols are about to learn what it means to be hunted from above. Let's set the scene. April 1241. The Hungarian plains. Flat, open grassland stretching to the horizon, perfect cavalry terrain. And that's exactly why the Mongols chose it. A Mongol horde isn't just soldiers, it's an entire mobile civilization. 20,000 warriors, yes, but also families, blacksmiths, herds of horses, supply wagons, siege engineers. They move like a swarm of locusts, consuming everything in their path. These aren't medieval knights who fight for honor. These are professional killers who fight for conquest. Each Mongol warrior has at least 3 horses. They can ride 100 miles in a day. They carry composite bows that can punch through armor at 70 yards. They invented psychological warfare. They'd massacre entire cities and leave one survivor to spread the terror. They perfected siege warfare, using Chinese engineers to build trebuchets and explosives. And they're led by Batu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, a tactical genius who has never lost a major battle. This is not a barbarian horde. This is the most lethal military force of the medieval world. And then, at 10 a.m., something impossible appears in the sky. The Mongols notice it first as a distant hum. Strange, unnatural. They look up. There, at 15,000 feet, is a shape they've never seen. Long, sleek, white. No wings like a bird, no movement like a bird. It just glides. Silent except for that strange hum. Some warriors point, some pray, some reach for their bows, but the thing is too high, impossibly high. An arrow can't reach that altitude. The shamans are called. Is it a spirit, an omen, a dragon? No one knows. Batu Khan rides forward, staring at the sky. His instinct, honed by decades of warfare, tells him this is a threat. He orders the horde to disperse, spread out, don't cluster. Whatever this thing is, don't give it a single target. It's the right call, but it won't matter. 700 years in the future, in a military base somewhere in Nevada, an Air Force drone pilot sits in a climate-controlled room. 2 joysticks, multiple screens. He's been flying the Reaper for 6 hours, and then suddenly his screens flicker. The landscape changes. The GPS goes haywire. The coordinates make no sense. And when the camera feed stabilizes, he sees something impossible. 20,000 horsemen in medieval armor, carrying bows and spears, moving across a plain like something out of a history book. The pilot's first thought is that he's hacked. This is a simulation, a prank, but the sensor data is real. The altitude is real. The fuel gauge is real. He radios his commanding officer. "Sir, I've got a situation. You need to see this." Within minutes, a command decision is made. Unknown hostile force, 20,000 strong. Engaged in apparent military operation. Rules of engagement. Engage and neutralize high-value targets. Authorization granted. The pilot arms the weapons. 2 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. 4 GBU-12 paveway laser-guided bombs, and a full load of ammunition for the drone's sensors and targeting systems. He takes a breath, selects the first target, and fires. The Mongols see the flash first, a streak of white smoke dropping from the flying creature, then the sound, a roar like thunder, but sharper, faster. Batu Khan's command tent, a large elaborate structure at the center of the horde, explodes. The Hellfire missile hits at 900 miles per hour. The shaped charge detonates. The explosion is massive, a fireball 50 feet wide. Batu Khan is vaporized instantly. His bodyguards, his generals, his advisors, all dead in 1 second. The shockwave flattens everything within 30 yards. Horses scream and bolt. Warriors are thrown from their saddles, and the horde, for the first time in its existence, doesn't know what to do. They've been attacked. But by what? There's no enemy army, no siege weapon, just that thing in the sky, and it's still there, still watching. The pilot confirms the hit. Target destroyed. He scans for the next high-value target. There, a group of heavily armored warriors on massive horses. Officers, sub-commanders. He fires the second Hellfire, another streak, another explosion. 12 more Mongol commanders dead. The horde is collapsing into chaos. Now let's talk about what a Hellfire missile actually does. It's not just an explosion, it's surgical devastation. The AGM-114 carries a 20-pound warhead. When it detonates, it sends a jet of superheated copper through the target at hypersonic speeds. It's designed to destroy tanks. Against medieval warriors, it's overkill. The primary target is obliterated, but the shrapnel, the blast wave, the secondary fires, they kill everything within a 50-foot radius. And the psychological impact? Incalculable. The Mongols have faced Greek fire, flaming arrows, trebuchet stones. But those are visible. Those make sense. This is death from the sky with no warning, no defense, and no explanation. Some warriors believe it's divine punishment. Others think they've angered a sky demon. The shamans are screaming prayers. But prayers don't stop Hellfire missiles. The pilot switches to the GBU-12 paveway bombs. These are heavier, 500 pounds each. Designed for bunkers and hardened targets. Against a massed group of cavalry. Catastrophic. He identifies a cluster of Mongol warriors trying to regroup, maybe 500 men in tight formation. He locks the laser designator, drops the first bomb. The paveway is guided by a laser reflected off the target. It's accurate to within 10 feet. It falls for 20 seconds. The Mongols see it. A dark shape growing larger. Some try to run. The bomb hits. The explosion is apocalyptic. A crater 20 feet deep. A fireball 200 feet wide. The concussive blast kills 300 warriors instantly. Horses are thrown hundreds of feet. The ground itself shakes. Survivors stagger away, bleeding from their ears, blinded, deafened. The pilot drops the second bomb, then the third, then the fourth. Each one annihilates another section of the horde. In 10 minutes, he's killed over 2,000 Mongol warriors, and the horde is breaking. Mongol discipline, legendary and unbreakable, shatters. Warriors flee in every direction. Some ride east back toward Asia. Some scatter into the forests. Some just dismount and run on foot, abandoning their horses. The horde, which this morning was an unstoppable invasion force, is now a panicked mob. The pilot watches through his camera. He's out of bombs. But he's not done. The Reaper has one more capability: intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, ISR. He can track the fleeing warriors, mark their positions, provide real-time intelligence to ground forces, but there are no ground forces, not yet. He radios command. Horde is dispersed. Multiple groups fleeing in all directions. Request instructions. The answer comes back. Continue surveillance. Identify regrouping points. Prepare for follow-up strikes if they reassemble. The pilot nods. He banks the drone and begins tracking the largest group of survivors, about 3,000 warriors, riding hard to the east. They're fast, but the drone is faster and it never gets tired. Now let's talk about the strategic implications. In real history, the Mongols invaded Hungary in 1241 and won decisively at the Battle of Mohi. They slaughtered the Hungarian army, they occupied Eastern Europe, and then suddenly they withdrew. Why? Because the great Khan, Ogedei, died in Mongolia. Batu Khan had to return for the succession crisis. Europe was saved by pure luck. But in our timeline, Batu Khan is dead, vaporized in the first strike. The Mongol command structure is shattered. There's no one to give orders, no one to organize a retreat or a regroup. The horde fragments into dozens of smaller groups. Some try to continue west, but without leadership, they're just raiders. Dangerous, yes, but not an existential threat. European armies, emboldened by the mysterious destruction of the horde, march east. They find scattered Mongol groups and destroy them. Within months, the Mongol invasion of Europe is over. Not because Europe was strong enough to stop it, but because something else did. But the drone is still there, still watching. The pilot has been flying for 18 hours. He's exhausted. But he can't stop, because he realizes something terrifying. If he leaves, if the drone runs out of fuel and crashes, the Mongols will find it. They'll see the technology. They won't understand it, but they'll know it exists. And knowledge, even incomplete knowledge, is dangerous. He makes a decision. He flies the drone east, following the retreating Mongols until the fuel is critically low. Then he crashes it deliberately into a river. Deep water, fast current. The drone sinks and is swept away, lost forever. The technology vanishes. The Mongols survive, but they're broken. They retreat back into Asia, telling stories of the sky demon that destroyed their horde. The shamans declare Hungary cursed. The Mongols never return to Europe, and history changes. But what does this mean for the world? Without the Mongol threat, Eastern Europe develops differently. Hungary isn't devastated. Poland isn't burned. The kingdoms consolidate, grow stronger. The Renaissance happens earlier because trade routes through Eastern Europe are safe. But there's a darker side. The Mongols, in real history, connected East and West. The Silk Road flourished under Mongol rule. Ideas, technologies, diseases spread faster. In our timeline, that doesn't happen. Europe and Asia remain more isolated. The exchange of knowledge slows. Maybe gunpowder takes longer to reach Europe. Maybe the printing press is delayed. You change one battle and the ripples spread for centuries. And the drone pilot, he's debriefed extensively. Military intelligence wants to know everything. What happened? How did the drone travel through time? Can it be replicated? He doesn't have answers. No one does. The equipment checks out, no malfunctions, no anomalies. It just happened. A temporal glitch. A cosmic accident. He's told to never speak of it again. Classified. Top secret. But he knows. He knows that somewhere in 1241 there are Mongol warriors telling their grandchildren about the day the sky opened and fire rained down. And he knows that he, one man in a chair in Nevada, killed thousands and changed the course of human history. So let's ask the big questions. Could one drone really stop the Mongol invasion? Militarily, yes. A Reaper with full ordnance could kill thousands and shatter command structure. The Mongols have no defense against it, no counter. But could it stop the entire empire? No. The Mongol Empire stretched from Korea to Hungary. Killing one horde, even 20,000 warriors, doesn't end the empire. But it ends that invasion. And that's enough to change Europe's history. Would the Mongols adapt? Maybe. If they recovered drone wreckage, if their engineers studied it, could they understand it? Probably not. The technological gap is too vast. It would be like showing a smartphone to a Roman legionnaire. They know it's powerful, but they have no framework to understand how or why, so it becomes myth, legend. The sky demon of Hungary, a warning to future generations. Don't go west. The demons are waiting. But here's the most interesting question. Is this a war crime? Think about it. A drone pilot striking without warning, killing thousands of people who can't fight back, who don't even understand what's attacking them. By modern standards, is that ethical? Legal? The Mongols were invaders, yes. They would have slaughtered millions if they reached Western Europe, but they're also human beings. Warriors following orders, families traveling with the horde. The pilot killed indiscriminately. High-value targets, yes, but also anyone near them. Is that justified? Or is it just murder with extra steps? There's no easy answer. War never has easy answers, especially when you're fighting an enemy from a different century who can't possibly understand the rules you're playing by. So what do you think? Could a single drone change the medieval world? Would the Mongols have adapted and found a way to counter it? And what would you do if you were the pilot with the power to kill thousands at the press of a button? Let us know in the comments. And if you're hooked on these impossible scenarios, smash that subscribe button. Because next week we're asking, what if a modern submarine surfaced in the middle of the Spanish Armada? Wooden ships, nuclear torpedoes. History is about to get really weird. This has been What If War, where the past meets the future and the impossible becomes the battlefield. Stay curious, stay tactical, and remember, in war, the most powerful weapon isn't always the biggest. Sometimes it's the one they never see coming.